Alrighty, so just a high-level overview of this season. 3 to 6 p.m. is our normal operating hours. Our opening day this year is always, well, it's always the first Friday in May, and that happens to be May 2nd this year. We will be closed for the 4th of July because it falls on a Friday. Our last day will be Halloween this year. And this year, we're Tuesdays and Fridays through the Missouri State Fair, and then we're going to Fridays only after the fair. We see the traffic drop off considerably after the fair when people are getting back into school routines. And so we're going to Fridays only after the fair in consideration of that. And just a reminder that consistent vendor turnout yields consistent customer turnout. If they know that you're going to be there, they'll come to the market. If it's hit and miss, they don't really want to find out it's hit and miss with you. So please, 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 please be as consistent as you possibly can be. We hate telling people you're not there. So just a reminder that we're a producer-only market, and I think everybody is familiar with that in here, but that means that you have to produce what you sell, with very, very limited exceptions. Our membership and application fees are the same as they were last year. It's an $80 annual membership fee. New vendors need to submit a $40 non-refundable application fee with their application. And then if you're approved, that $40 fee will apply to your annual membership fee. And we do have a vetting process. And the vetting process is intended to make sure that what is sold at the market is quality, that it matches what our customers expect. I will tell you that it's okay to have some duplication at the market, but we don't want to have so much duplication that it's not worth your time to be there. So we always try to strike a balance there, like not flooding the market with tomatoes, for example. Or every year we'll get someone who calls and says, I had a bumper crop of tomatoes in my home garden, can I bring them to the market? And we tell them no, because our vendors kind of plan their lives around what they're selling at the market, and to have somebody come in and flood it with their bumper crop is not fair to the vendors that have signed on to be there every day. So we do vet vendors, like I said, and it is a quality and balance process. Rule changes from last year, the Fridays only after the fair, like I just mentioned. We have in the rule book, if you haven't noticed yet, that we did create some rules for safety at the market. We love having families at the market. Love, love, love. That includes all your children. We love them. But just like a swimming pool, we just wanted to have a few safety guidelines so that everybody's aware and for the safety of all. Arrival time, we ask that everybody be in place by 2:30. We have a lot of customers that are coming in to browse before then, before the opening bell that rings at 3. So we want to be sure that we don't have moving vehicles and browsing customers in the same space if we can avoid it. Now, we do make exceptions for that periodically. We understand that things happen. Somebody will have a flat tire or a sick child or any number of things that could go wrong that would prevent you from being there right at 2:30. But as a course of habit, we ask that you be in your stall by 2:30. Want to give some clarity on your fee calculation. Every year there's a little bit of confusion. Just want to point out that we've gone back and forth over the years on what we charge during the fair, and we're just going to keep it simple. It's the same during the fair as it is every other time. Your daily fee is for a regular non-electric stall. It's the greater of $10 or 3% of your daily sales. So if you figured out what your daily sales were and they were $11, that 3% was $11, that's what you would owe. But if you didn't sell anything, you still owe $10. Same for electric stall, but the minimum is 15. And then if you have more than one stall, it raises the minimum accordingly. And more than one stall is available on a case-by-case basis, but it does affect your minimum. There will be some days when we ask vendors to kind of spread out to fill in holes at the market. In that case, we would not be charging you for additional space. But if it's something that you've requested, then we would ask that the minimum be raised. Any questions on that?
How big's the stall?
10 feet by 12 and a half, I believe. So your car will fit in space,
Oh, okay.
and then you'll have extra space for your booth.
I have a question.
Yes,
This is our first year.
Yes.
Now, when do you pay your 3% or
at the end of each market day.
at the end of each market day?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get to it in just a moment. So on the highlights of our rules and helping the market go smoothly, we have a check-in process so that we know whether or not you're coming. And that way we can market you. So every day, every Monday, no, sorry. Yeah, every Monday and every Thursday, we are gonna have you report in on our Facebook page or texting us or in some way before 4 o'clock to let Rachel know whether or not you're going to be there, if you have anything new that you're gonna be bringing that you want us to highlight. Because on Monday and Thursday evening, we're preparing the market day email that will go out that night to tell people what's gonna be at the market the next day. And it helps us so much if you let us know. We don't wanna track you down. That's hard to do, especially if we're a large group. But that way we have marketing for you in the newsletter, and we can also find a place for you on the stall map. And we will give you the stall map on the day of the market sometime before you arrive. You don't have to know what it is, we'll have it with us. We'll point you to where you're gonna go when you get to the market. But we do need to know if you're coming in order to make a place for you. Again, can't emphasize enough, be in place no later than 2:30 if you possibly can. No shows are very, very frowned upon. Again, if we advertise that you're gonna be at the market in our, whether it's our email newsletter or on social media, that it's heartbreaking. And that sometimes is not too strong a word, when customers show up expecting you and if you're not there. So please consider that very carefully in deciding whether or not you're coming to the market that day. Again, we live by the golden rule at the farmers market, but that doesn't seem to be working. We do have a grievance form. It's in the manual, in the vendor manual, that you can complete, and you would give the grievance form to Rachel, and we would handle it from there. And again, just emphasizing that we've added some safety rules. They're very simple. We've added those in the handbook as well. All right, I'm gonna let Brenda and or Kim kind of tag team on marketing yourself. We do marketing for you, but we're mostly sharing the marketing that you do. So like if Bonita posts that she's having a sale on chicken, we're gonna turn right around and share that with our 10,400 and some social media followers. So it's very important that if you're not comfortable yet with social media, that you try to get comfortable with it. There's so many YouTube videos and such that you can learn about, but Kim and Brenda are gonna tag team to give you a highlight of. Kim with Triple H. You want me to repeat it for you?
No, I got it. What'd you say?
I'm here if you need me.
Oh, moral support.
That's right.
Yeah, that's fine. So I'll try to make it kind of short and sweet. Most of you are not new, and you guys all probably know how this works. I did want to add on the application piece that's new this year. At the top right corner, we are requesting to know how many stalls you are asking for at the beginning of the market season. That is new, and even though I'm one of the ones that helped to implement that, I still missed it and forgot to put it on my application, just because I always need 2 stalls, Anita usually needs 2 stalls, and so they do fill up relatively quickly. We do try to accommodate, but it would be nice if we knew ahead of time how many you guys were anticipating needing during the market season. So again, I'm Kim and my husband Matt. This is our 8th year going into selling produce. Probably only maybe our 5th year of giving it a good try, maybe. Those first 3 years were not good tries, I can tell you that.
Old man show, sorry.
I do have a tendency to talk a little bit fast, so if you guys have any questions, you don't necessarily have to wait to the end. You could just go ahead and raise your hand and flag me down to get what you need. So while we understand that some of you might be new to market, it is important that you recognize that you're trying to do whether it's a small business, a side hobby. For my husband and I, this is our full-time jobs. You do need to understand somewhat how to market yourself. Now, or at least the last several years, social media has been a pretty big push. Websites, Facebook, Instagram, we offer a email through MailChimp that we send out to subscribers. And then we also have a small Facebook community page online as well. As Bev was saying earlier, if we share something, like you can see some of our Facebook pages, Backyard Yoders, us, Ozark's not here anymore, but that was them. What'll happen is whatever we post on those pages, Rachel or somebody within the admin side will then share our posts to the Sedalia Facebook page, which currently the Sedalia Facebook page has about 10,500 followers. We also post when you check in the day before on Thursday night or Monday night. We will then prepare something like this. So clearly this was during the fall and we were advertising that. We were gonna have food trucks and moms were gonna be there. Bread, pies, cookies, different kinds of veggies. And so it is important that we know whether or not you're coming the day before. So for example, if we had advertised Mums and then Carmen Farm is our Mums dealer, that sounds like we have a dealer, that sounds bad. But that was the word we're gonna use. I'm sure that there would be some customers disappointed. I mean, barring, we understand accidents happen, flat tires, things like that. But if they just decided to no-show, that just isn't a great look for the market overall. And so we really do appreciate frequent and regular communication. Are you raising your hand?
Yeah, yeah. I was just gonna say, and if the vendor has a flat tire, whatever, if they could just let us know.
Yes. Mhm.
Because then we could, because the customers are gonna come looking, and at least we
Correct.
can say, whatever.
There was an
Rather than, I
incident,
don't
there
know,
was
they said
whatever.
they were gonna be here.
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah,
so
so
frequent and
super
regular
important to let us
communication is
know.
appreciated. If something changes, no-shows are just really hard to explain. Last year, we had some special events, so First Friday artisan vendors. The farmer's market is not necessarily like a craft market per se, and not that crafts are the only thing under artisan pieces, but we do try to open up to other local artists or, I don't wanna say groups, but people that produce or make something, and that draws a decent amount of people. We also have Little Sprouts during the season, which is put on by Teresa Headsat, and it'll be activities and things for kids to get involved with. I guess adults could do it too if they wanted to, but it is geared towards children. Last year we had Pumpkin Day was an event that happily coincided with was that Airstream, which was like it was wonderful, but it was also a little shocking, I feel like, because there was all these people there, which was great. But we do try to then promote those events, and we do find that when we do things like that, it does have a tendency to bring more people to the market. All right. Auctions. So I did want to talk about, from a marketing standpoint, some of this. And oh, I'm sorry, I guess it should say 2025 vendor packet. So again, we are a producer-only market, so you have to grow, make, create everything by yourself to then sell it at the market. Auctions, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with, and again, this is from a producer standpoint, a produce standpoint versus other products. down for sales and some of those places, there's clearly some pretty large auctions that go on down there. You are not allowed to go down and purchase boxes like this and then bring them to the market to sell. That also goes for like flower baskets. So if you go down there and you purchase baskets of flowers and you're bringing them directly to the market to resell, not okay. There have been, or there was at one point, this was several years ago, Matt and I had started several hundred brassica, it was broccoli or something like that. That it was probably his fault that we lost them. I don't remember whose it was. We're gonna say it was his. And they were gone. I don't remember. I genuinely what happened to them. And so, so you shouldn't have put me on stage. Then I wouldn't blame you for things. But we were in a crunch, and I needed some more starts. And so we ran down to Versailles, which is not my favorite thing to do because people know who we are. We've been doing this for long enough where they recognize us. And we were bringing back broccoli starts to then replant, which is allowed by us to do that. We're not selling those broccoli plants. We're selling what we're producing from the plants. We have to grow them, cut the broccoli, bring it all in and whatever. If I had taken those broccoli plants and put them into other 4-packs and then tried to sell those starts, that's not allowed. You're just reselling what you've already purchased. The only issue that is there with us doing that is you have to be careful because people see you, and then it somewhat calls in play the integrity of the farmer's market. Oh, well, I know that they buy at the auction because I saw them there. Yes, and we have asked that we try to let farmer's market, particularly the table at the market of people, whether that's Brenda or Bev or Rachel, know, hey, I had to run down to the auction because of X, Y, and Z. It doesn't happen often, but there are times where customers call or come out and say, this can't be a producer-only market because I've seen this person there, or they couldn't have grown those tomatoes because, X, Y, and Z. They also call, say things like that because some of these boxes, I'm sure some of you have seen them, they say, like Missouri Grown, Yoder's uses them for fried pies. Sorry, yeah, cover your face back there, Yoder's, yes. But clearly they're not buying fried pies from the auction, right, and like reselling them. Those boxes are great. They do fit my produce perfectly, but I don't use them because then it looks like I'm bringing tomatoes from the auction in those boxes, and again, it calls into my integrity. Even sometimes we get boxes from Sam's to carry our produce. I won't use the strawberry boxes because we sell strawberries and I don't want them to think that we're purchasing like Driscoll strawberries and then just putting them in a different package. You just have to be careful about that and just think about those extra steps of it from a marketing standpoint. What is this saying about your table, basically?
Right, and not only that, but it can harm the whole market.
Correct. Correct. Okay, so again, we are produce people, so not all of this will pertain to you, but just keeping in mind that a nice clean stand is what people want to see. I won't buy from a producer, even at other farmers markets that I've gone to where we've whipped out the card table from 1942 that's got the dip in the middle and maybe a water stain on it, and there's cobwebs in the bottom corners, and I'm just setting out my tomatoes in the hopes that someone's going to take them. And it doesn't have to be tomatoes, it could be, teas, it could be baked goods, it could be whatever. You want to think about the fact of how you're being perceived by customers when they walk up to you. If I have a clean stand, if I have on, clean clothing, I'm not saying you have to wear them that has like your name or anything like that, but if I am presenting myself in a certain way and I'm presenting the table in a certain way, there's an automatic assumption that comes with their farm and their area where their gardens, their whatever, are probably clean and well taken care of as well. They are more likely to purchase from you. I put this guys up here because this is not my favorite down here, and actually I think it's against health code violations when you have food and things on the ground like that. Just be mindful. Using a tablecloth to cover through there is just giving it a nice, clean look. I will also mention too, on a marketing standpoint, I guess it'll be Rachel this year, we do Facebook Lives at 2:30 is normally when that starts. So even though the cutoff time is 2:30 to get there, it is better that you get there earlier, because if you go back and look at past Facebook Lives, I have been a culprit of showing up at 2:10 and you see Amber, our previous market manager, going, Kim, what kind of tomatoes do you have? And I'm like, just read the sign, I don't have time, you know, as I'm running across trying to get everything out. That probably isn't marketing myself in the best way. You know, you want to have your stand set up and it needs to look nice and presentable, because people do watch, and I have had people come in and say, hey, I saw you on live and you have your Cherokee purple tomatoes are here today. You know, I came because I saw them. If I wasn't set up and prepared, then those may not have been, you know, out there. So it is important to be in place. It's important to have your stand looking, you know, appropriate for that time. It's much harder when I have 12 million things everywhere and I didn't get there till right at 2:30 and she's coming around wanting to talk to me and I'm like yelling and waving as I'm walking away from her, which I'm pretty sure is on the Facebook Live, to be honest. From a produce standpoint, you know, again, it's always pretty full. One thing I want to mention that I know Bev hasn't is we do not love when vendors start taking down prior to 6 o'clock. So it's 5:40, everyone's ready to get home. I also feel that way at 5:40, I'm ready to go. But when we start taking down and packing up early, it sort of prevents that later crowd from wanting to come, because everything is already being put away. So we highly encourage you to stay up for as long as possible. However, on a marketing piece, what I have found is, if my stand is full or looks full, people want to buy from me. Nobody wants to buy the last bunch of carrots. I don't really understand why, as if that bunch of carrots is somehow tainted because it's the last bunch. But if I have a stand like this that's all the way set up, and this can be for any product, baked goods, whatever, and I consolidate down, which is okay. So you can take tables down, you can put things away, but as I start stacking again, like this is a single, I think 8-foot table. If I had all that product over 3 or 4 8-foot tables, it's not gonna look as full, and miraculously people want to buy from me again. There's a psychological component to it, I guess, there, that they want to buy from something that looks full, I guess. There's a saying in produce farming called stack it high and watch it fly, and that does actually kind of work, I have found, with that. So taking down to reorganizing things is fine. Taking down to put away is just hard, because then customers are not likely to want to come back, because everything's already being put up at 5:45 and I just got out of work at 5:30, and it just kind of maybe puts them off to shopping. This was just another set of pictures from, there's back yonder, there's Beulah. Again, I think I did these because the tablecloths that go down, if you're going to have things behind, I like back yonder's tablecloths, if you guys can find something similar. It has I think yours has a cut in the back, doesn't
They
it?
don't.
Okay, I don't like yours then.
I don't like that either, but yeah, they don't have a cut.
So these ones are like fitted, and the nice thing is that you can find them where they have the back of the table does not have this all the way down. There's a cut, so you can put things underneath, and then people are not seeing everything that's underneath your table. It just gives it a nice like look, you know, all the way across. In Beulah Valley with their, I also have this color tablecloth, just simple, plain. It doesn't have to be crazy, you know, out of the park. I would recommend, if you're doing anything with foods or produce, ours are, I think they're maybe like a polyester blend. The liquid pools at the top, they're easy to clean, they're wrinkle free. You can find all of that stuff relatively inexpensive at Amazon. So some things to think about if you're new to selling and what to bring. And one of the things I want to mention with Cashbox up there, the market does not have change. Ask me how I know, because clearly I think I've gone, yeah, back there Yoders is smiling a little. I know I've gone over and said, you guys have ones? I'm out of ones over here.
That happens a lot.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, we're all trying to steal from each other. So The market does not carry change, like the head table does not carry change. Now, on there I put credit card reader, so in that piece with change, if someone is coming to you and doesn't have cash, as a vendor, it's highly recommended and it's free basically to sign up for a Square or something like that. It can connect to your phone. I have found while credit cards do charge a fee, people have a tendency to buy more from me when they say, oh, I really like your carrots and I like your lettuce and I like your eggplant. Man, I only have $5. And I'm like, I take credit card. And then all of a sudden, they're buying 8, 9, 10 different things. And so just be mindful of that. When we first started taking credit card, it was just a little square that hooked into our phone. That was free. I don't know, iPhones don't have the port, so I'm not sure exactly all those readers anymore, what's free and isn't. I think the charge is like 2.9%. Is it 30 cents or 10 cents per
Plus
trans-
10
Okay,
in
unless you
person.
manual enter it, I think it's 30.
Then it's
But
more, yeah.
but also, the green table, which is the market table, will run credit cards, and you can get tokens, which I think Bev will talk about tokens here in a little bit. They will run them for like cash equivalents, so people can go run their card, get, market tokens to then bring to you. I have just found though that having a credit card reader omits that step, and sometimes when I say to them, oh, I don't take credit card, but you can go to the table to get tokens, I bet you 50% of the time I lose the sale because there's these extra steps and having to walk to the table, swipe my card, come back. It's almost like too much work all of a sudden. So tables, rubber bands, twist ties, signage is always good. This vendor isn't here with us anymore, but this was just, I think her table was 6 foot, very basic. You can see underneath here, she actually has something underneath her tablecloth, and that's what I was talking about earlier. Clean, nice sign. A lot of people don't want to ask what you charge. They don't find that appealing to have to come up and say, well, how much is this or how much is that? So clear signage is also really important. Pens, any market books that you might need, produce bags, baskets, boxes, anything to give your display height is really good. Business cards, a scale, keep in mind it has to be a for trade only scale, like a certified scale. If you're selling by weight, water, the market does have like a Gatorade tank of water, but we have like little bitty cups, but not, so make sure you're bringing things that gets hot. Those dog days of summer are very real. Sometimes I see heads shaking that, yes, you've been there with us. There is also a nice article at Bootstrap Farmer about how to sell at a farmer's market for those of you that are new, that give a lot of insights that I have found helpful in the past. And again, as a produce farmer, I'm not gonna have all the answers, even though I think I do sometimes, but I'm not gonna have all the answers for everybody that's doing, soaps or baked goods or things like that, because I just don't have the experience in that. Let me make sure I don't have anything else on here. I did write, don't undersell the value of your products. Everybody works hard. None of us are really afraid to share pricing. I've gone to Benita, I've gone to, what's that?
I said I go to you.
Yeah, she's come to me. I've said something to Angie before, hey, what are you selling X, Y, and Z for? I don't want to undersell. I also don't want to be just so exorbitant in price point. It's not that we try to line in price points. The market in no way, shape, or form has anything to do with pricing. So if you come to us and say, well, so-and-so is selling for, she's undercutting us, we cannot tell anybody what to sell something for. But what we do try to do is somewhat stay in line, because if Benita's selling her tomatoes for $4.25 and I'm only selling for $4, I'm going to $4.25. Because I want a cut of that extra too. So just be sort of mindful. Most of the time, all of us are pretty open to communication with that. If you grow good products, they will sell themselves once you get people to try them. I have found that a lot. Market customers come for an experience, not just to buy produce. So keep that in mind as well. They are not just coming there to grab items and go. The farmer's market is a experience. If they wanted to just buy groceries, they would go to Walmart. There is something about coming in, talking to your farmer, talking to your baker, talking to your egg dealer, talking to, you know, whoever that is, to ask questions, to find out more. It's sometimes I